have every Ekadasi 64 rounds chanting. I request everybody please join. And this is Karthik. And last 5 days are Bhishma Panchaka. Please join and give your association. It's very auspicious to chant more rounds. So please, I request everybody to join. After the CC class, we'll be opening for 64 rounds chanting. Hare Krishna. Mataji, Prabhuji join. Hare Krishna, I welcome everybody to Bhakti Sangha Chepa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Keshavanand Prabhuji to enlighten us on topic Glories of Srila Gaurakishor Das Babaji Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji, for joining and giving your valuable time and association this morning. We are very fortunate to have you on the call. Before I hand over the call to Keshavanand Prabhuji, I would hand over the call to Praveen Govind Prabhu for giving small introduction about Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Praveen Govind Prabhu, please take over the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all devotees on the call, and Dandavat Pranam Keshavanand Prabhuji. So Keshavanand Prabhu is a professional doctor and a monk, and since the last many years, over 20 years, he has been conducting extensive research, and he has authored many books in the field of science and spirituality. And he personally feels that there is a rift between science and spirituality that must disappear to bring peace in the world and spirituality. He believes that if spirituality is a superstition and a myth, science is materialistic and atheistic. And a new approach to life is needed today that can bring the best in both. Science must re-embrace spirituality and be humble to admit its defects, flaws, and ignorance. And spirituality must base itself on sound, scientific, and rational ideas. So Dr. Keshavanand Prabhu has founded a new approach in Sanskrit sutras of the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita. For decoding the Sanskrit sutras and the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita, he studied Sanskrit in Western and Indian philosophy. Besides Sanskrit, he also learned Bengali, Gujarati, Marathi, and Kannada to know about the other traditions. His persistent endeavor in the field of science and spirituality has enabled him to come up with seminars on diverse topics like science and the Vedas, mind and machines, science fails to explain life, consciousness and beyond, etc. And he has presented many seminars in India, Europe, and America. Under the guidance of his spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj, he has also started a Gurukula in traditional system of Vedic education in Punjab, India, which is Rajpura, where he has his ashram called Badrik Ashrams. The community has traditional way of living with mud huts and thatched roofs with cows, and of course farming. The community is a model for the world to show how to live a life based on principle of simple living and high thinking. So I'll hand over the call to Keshavanand Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, you can hear me, Praveen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, fine. Let's see. Okay, I'll just speak on. Forget it. This is done. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I'll just open this recording and then just see what to do. Okay. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaudavani Pracharin Nirvishesham Navadi Vaishyatishtha. I think I got to speak on Gaurakishor Das Babaji. That's what the topic is. And I'll just begin with that I think that pranam mantra of Gaurakishor Das Babaji, Namo Gaurakishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murte Vipralambhar Sambhude Padambhujayate Namah. That's a pranam mantra of Gaurakishor Das Babaji. I think that's the mantra, yeah. I think so. Isn't it? Anybody? Vipralambhara Sambhude Padambhujayate Namah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I think this is the one. Yeah. So this is how we offer pranams to Gaurakishor Das Babaji. And this pranam mantra, it speaks for itself. Everything. Who is this personality? And how great is his personality, in spite of the fact that his greatness was not perceived by many people when he was alive, except probably few of them, like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He could understand, they could understand, and some others. But otherwise, these people, I mean, say Bhajananandis, they just go unnoticed. But they preach by their actions. Now, Gaurakishor Das Babaji, who was he and what are his pastimes? That's what we are going to discuss today. Today is Ekadashi and Kartik Ekadashi, and we are celebrating festival for him today. So who is he? Namo Gaurakishoraya. Now this name itself is quite interesting because Kishore. Now, if you think about this name, Gaura means Lord Chaitanya, and Kishore means what? Now that's the trick there. What is the meaning of Kishore? Kishore might mean Krishna in Kishore Avastha, just like we say Kishore, Kishori in Vrindavan. In Nimbark Sampradaya, they like to call Krishna as Kishore, Kishori. So Kishore means a young boy, Kishori means a young girl. In that sense, from 11 to 15 years age. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so who was he? I think he was Raghupati Upadhyay. When Mahaprabhu went to Vrindavan and he asked him, can you summarize Krishna in just one verse? And he said, yes. And he said, so in that verse, he said, the best place is Madhupuri. So Madhupuri means Mathura. Or it might also mean Vrindavan, Madhupuri. Madhu means nectar, Puri means place. A place which is full of nectar. That is Vrindavan. The best place is Madhupuri. The best age of Krishna is Kishore Avastha. That is 11 to 15 years of age. Because in that age, he experiences sweetness of unparalleled excellence. That's the age. And that is why all Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas like to worship Krishna in his Kishore Avastha. Because after 15 years, he goes to Mathura and Dwarka, which is actually Yauvan Avastha. But the whole point is, of course, when he goes to Mathura and Dwarka, he's not, Krishna is always sweet. Madhuram. So what's that? So Vallabhacharya's song. Venu Madhuro, Hasitam Madhuram, Vichi Madhuram, Pani Madhuram, Chalitam Madhuram. Everything is sweet. But his sweetness in Vrindavan is expressed to a very large extent, much more than Dwarka and Mathura. And even in Vrindavan pastimes, when he's with Radharani, that expresses Krishna's sweetness to the ultimate extent. And Krishna also experiences sweetness to the highest degree. That's what the pastime of Radha and Krishna is there. And that's why Kishore Avastha is the age which is worshipable for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. We Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we generally don't like to worship Laddu Gopal, a small Krishna, baby Krishna. That's not our thing because baby Krishna cannot be with Radharani. That's not the point there. Uh, so Radha and Krishna are there together, and they worship together when they are in youth, because that's the time they can interact and they can have their pastimes. That's the idea there. So yeah. So I was telling Kishore. Kishore in Gaurakishor, Kishore might mean this: Krishna and Kishore Avastha, and Gaura means Lord Chaitanya. That's one way to see this name, Gaurakishor. Gaurakishor Das, Babaji, who is a servant. Das means servant of Lord Chaitanya, who is none other than Lord Krishna in combined form. Kishore, Krishna with Radha, and that is Lord Chaitanya. So this is Gaur Kishore Das. Another meaning can be Kishore might also mean, according to some people, uh, Gaur Kishore. Gaura means Lord Chaitanya, Kishore means youth. When Lord Chaitanya is in youthful age, when he's a youth, that's Gaur Kishore. Chaitanya in youth. So, what kind of pastimes comes to our mind when we think of Lord Chaitanya as a youth? Well, his pastimes of Navdeep, and also his pastimes after sannyas to a certain degree. But actually, his pastimes of Navdeep when he's from 11 to 15 years old. He's in Navdeep, he's playing with his friends on the bank of Ganges. And he so he had a debate with Keshav Kashmiri and so many pastimes of Navdeep. So that's Gaurkishore. That can be okay. He's a servant of that Mahaprabhu who is having his pastimes in Navdeep from 11 to 15 years of age. Yeah, that's fine. That's one of the meaning. That's okay. One of the meaning which should not be given to this name is Gaurkishore. So one of the meaning of this name is uh, there are some sects in Mayapur and Bengal by the name as so what do we call them as so as Nadia Nagari. Yeah, that's the name. They are one of the upper Sampradaya people, Nagari, Nadia Nagari, who are found in Sri Khanda. So they generally like to view Lord Chaitanya as a Kishore Avastha, and they think that Lord Chaitanya was actually having Ras Leela with many women of Navdeep and Mayapur, just like Krishna was having. Now that's that's really crazy philosophy. But well, these upper Sampradaya people, these Nadia Nagari people, who so even today you can find them in Sri Khanda, where Narvi Sarkar Thakur was there from that place. So they believe in this philosophy. So according to them, Lord Chaitanya had a, a, a relationship with Vishnu Priya and Lakshmi Priya as husband and wife. But actually, this is completely wrong. Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, he then later countered this philosophy very ferociously. And he said, no, Vishnu Priya and Lakshmi Priya are not wife of Lord Chaitanya. Internally, externally they are. But internally they didn't have the mood of wife. Because Lord Chaitanya is not Krishna, Lord Chaitanya is Radha Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya is Radha Krishna. Krishna is enjoying his pleasures, his sweetness of Radha Rani. That is Gaurang Mahaprabhu. And Vishnu Priya and Lakshmi Priya, They are Lakshmi who have come to serve Radha and Krishna. They are not in a conjugal mood with Lord Chaitanya. And he just blasted these actually Nadiya Nagari people. And actually, these Nadiya Nagari people, they used to publish a magazine, Vishnu Priya magazine, in the time of Bhakti Saraswati Thakur. So in that magazine, so this magazine was actually circulated by most of these caste Goswamis of Kharda, of Nityanand Parivar, and of Sri Khanda, of Nari Sarka Thakur Parivar, combined. And they were very influential people, but Bhakti Santa, he just smashed them. And in Yog Peeth, that's why he installed Lord Chaitanya with Vishnu Priya and Lakshmi Priya. Even if you go today in Yog Peeth, in the central altar, not in the central altar, but in the side altar, actually in the central altar. On the side altar, there's Radha Krishna. So there are three altars, just like in Vrindavan, Radha Shamsundar, Gaunita, and Krishna Balram. So where Krishna Balram is there, in the between, there in Yog Peeth, you have Gaurang Mahaprabhu, Vishnu Priya, and Lakshmi Priya. And on the Gaunita side of Krishna Balram temple, so on that side, so on the left hand side, you have Radha Krishna deities, and on the right hand side, you have Panchatattva. So why did he do that? So he said, I want to show these Sahajyas, Nadiya Nagari people, that Gaurang Mahaprabhu is not Kishore. He is not having a mood of Kishore. He's not having a conjugal mood. He's not in that mood. In Navadip, in relationship to actually other people, that conjugal mood is within him. That's another topic. Krishna is enjoying with Radharani within himself. But externally, it's not like that. And Vishnu Priya and Lakshmi Priya are servants of Gaurang Mahaprabhu. They are in Dasya Bhav with Gaurang Mahaprabhu and not in Madhurya Bhav. So he did that. So that meaning we should not take of Gaurakishor. Of course, if you might tell this meaning in Sri Khanda today with Nadiya Nagari people, they will be very happy. They'll say, oh yeah, this is the true meaning of Gaurakishor. And that's not the point. So who is actually Gaurakishor Das Babaji? This is the meaning of the name. But who is he? Well, he, if you read his biography, you will find that he belonged from East Bengal, from Bangladesh. There's a place called as Faridpur. In 1830, I think, 1830, he was born there. He appeared, let's not say born, because these are perfected souls. He appeared there, and he was actually a married person, by the way. If you might be surprised to hear this. He was a married man. He was not renunciate the whole. It's like Namo Gaurakishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtine. He was an embodiment of renunciation, but he was not lifelong celibate. He was married. And at a particular point of time, he said his wife died. I mean, he was married and he was also doing a business. Some small business he was doing in Faridpur. You can imagine Gaurakishor Das Babaji doing the business with the wife. It seems strange when you think about it. So he was doing, and then I think his wife died, and then he went to Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, he took initiation from actually Bhagavad Das Babaji. Now, who was Bhagavad Das Babaji? Bhagavad Das Babaji was a disciple of actually Jagannath Das Babaji. Bhagavad Das Babaji was a disciple of Jagannath Das Babaji. Well, but if you see our parampara, which what Prabhupada has printed in Bhagavad Gita, so just after introduction, just before starting, just before chapter 1, if you see that parampara, you will find that that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then so you will find Jagannath Das Babaji, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and then Gaurakishor Das Babaji, then Bhakti Siddhanta, and then Srila Prabhupada. So you might think, what's happening? Jagannath Das Babaji, after Jagannath Das Babaji comes Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and then comes Gaurakishor Das Babaji. But Gaurakishor Das Babaji is not disciple of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Gaurakishor Das Babaji is a disciple of Bhagavad Das Babaji, who is a disciple of Jagannath Das Babaji. But as you might have heard, our parampara is Shiksha parampara and not exactly a Diksha parampara. So Bhagavad Das Babaji is not included. Rather, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is included because Jagannath Das Babaji's Shiksha disciple was Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur considered himself a disciple. He himself, he considered himself disciple of Jagannath Das Babaji because he took because in later past times when he was very old, he took actually Babaji Diksha from Jagannath Das Babaji. So he became his disciple, Shiksha Babaji disciple. And then Gaurakishor Babaji, he used to consider Bhaktivinoda Thakur as his Shiksha Guru because so in the sense that Gaurakishor Das Babaji used to daily come to Swanand Sugdha Kunj, where Bhaktivinoda Thakur used to live in Navadip. So we all know Swanand Sugdha Kunj was a house constructed by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Godrum Dweep. Today, if you go to ISKCON, ISKCON is on Antar Dweep. So we all go to Mayapur. So we catch a boat, isn't it? We go to station, then we take rickshaw, and then we go to Ganges Bank. So that dweep where we are dropped by the train, that is Hare Krishna. So that is Kulia, the Kulia Gram. But then you cross the Ganges and then you go to ISKCON. That dweep is Antar Dweep. But then on the other side of Antar Dweep, so when you cross the river, not Ganges, but another branch which is coming and actually joining Ganges, which is actually Jalangi River. If you cross that, then you go to Kodron Dweep, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so Anand Sudha Kunj is there. And there he used to recite Bhagavatam, and Gaurakishor Babaji used to come and hear that Bhagavatam. And of course, Vimal Prasad was there sitting, small boy. He used to hear his father reciting. And they were very happy. So Gaurakishor Babaji is a Shiksha disciple. He used to consider Bhaktivinoda Thakur as Shiksha Guru. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is again a Diksha disciple and Shiksha disciple. And of course, Diksha disciple of Gaurakishor Babaji. And also Shiksha because Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said that whatever I'm preaching, so he gave example that you see in your house, you might see tube lights, bulb, fan, AC, fridge, heater, and all are powered by electricity. So you can see all these things. You can also see electricity, but you cannot see from where it is generated. Electricity generated in a powerhouse which is miles away from your house, and from the electricity is transmitted, and then all these appliances you can work. But you never think about the source, isn't it? We never think about powerhouse. I mean to say that unless your electricity is off, or maybe there are regular cuts. But in America, you don't realize that. So nobody thinks about that. So and nobody can see that because it's miles away. So Bhakti said, similarly, my powerhouse is Gaurakishor Das Babaji. He actually reduced my false ego. He crushed my false ego. I used to think I'm a great philosophical scholar. I'm scholar in philosophy. I'm a great mathematician. I'm a great astrologer. I am I'm very I'm very aristocratic, knowledgeable, respected by everybody. And Babaji said, I'll not initiate you. I'm going to initiate you. I'll ask Mahaprabhu. And he rejected him twice, thrice. And Bhaktivinoda was, and everybody in Navdeep and Mayapur wanted to make Bhakti Siddhanta their disciple. Because people were thinking if we can get Bhakti Siddhanta as disciple, this kind of person of this caliber, well, our mutt will go from A to Z. Our mutt will rise like anything. He will be our man. And so, by God's said, I'll ask Mahaprabhu. He crushed Bhakti Santa in his humility. He said this. So he said, "My everything what I own is inspired by God's Babaji. He's my powerhouse." So in that sense, you see, he was his Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru as well. So our parampara is like that. But the point I'm bringing is that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is not just included in our sampradaya just as Shiksha, disciple of Jagannath Das Babaji. He's also linked to our sampradaya through Diksha also, because we know Bhaktivinoda Thakur's guru, Diksha Guru, was actually Vipin Bihari Goswami, and Vipin Bihari Goswami, he was in the line of Nityanand Prabhu. So he's connected from the other way. There's some other connection with the sampradaya through Diksha, but that connection we don't like to speak of because we are focusing on the Shiksha connection. It's not that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is not connected to our sampradaya. He is connected, but that Diksha connection we don't give so importance as Shiksha connection. Until unless Diksha connection also is giving Shiksha. That's another thing. Just like Gaurakishor Babaji is both Shiksha and Diksha, disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta. So that's Gaurakishor Babaji. His guru was Bhagavad Das Babaji, Diksha Guru. And Bhagavad Das Babaji, Diksha Guru is Jagannath Das Babaji. And Jagannath Das Babaji's Diksha Guru was actually Madhusudan Das Babaji. Madhusudan Das Babaji was living in Vrindavan. Madhusudan Das Babaji is called as Siddha Baba of Suryakund. Even if you today go to Suryakund in Vrindavan, near Radhakund and Shyamkund, you will find everybody talking about him. And there is also Samadhi of Madhusudan Das Babaji. Many people even today go and have darshan. He was very famous in Vrindavan, Madhusudan Das Babaji. And Madhusudan Das Babaji's guru was Uddhav Das Babaji, Diksha Guru. And Uddhav Das Babaji's Diksha Guru was again Uddhav Das Babaji, same name. And then Uddhav Das Babaji's Maharaj Guru was Baldev Vidyabhushan, that we know. So it seems, so you see the point. This is a line of Babaji's there. But that doesn't mean that Babaji's were not preachers. Some of them were preachers, some of them were not preachers. Gaurakishor Das Babaji was not a Ghoshanandi. He was a Bhajananandi. Uddhav Das Babaji, he was a Bhajananandi. Masudusan Das Babaji, he was a Bhajananandi. Jagannath Das Babaji, he was a Ghoshanandi. Ghoshanandi means a preacher. Ghoshta means Ghoshna, to announce. Bhajananandi means bhajan. They don't really preach. And Brother Vidabhushan, he was a Babaji, but I mean to say, because in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya there is a Babaji, Vihesh. Bhakti Santa introduced sannyas, varnashram process. So, but then he was a preacher. He was a Ghoshtanandi. So, Gaurakishor Babaji, that's his line in our Sampradaya. And he was Sakshat Vairagya Murtina in Vrindavan. So after he left his family, His wife died. From Faridpur, he just went to Vrindavan. There, he took initiation, and then he spent 32 years in Vrindavan. That's too much time. 32 years. Doing what? Simply chanting the holy names of Lord. He was chanting 2 lakh names daily. Yeah, 2 lakh or sometime even 3 lakh names, like Haridas Thakur. He was staying just like Goswami. He used to stay one night in under one tree, another night in another tree, and he used to simply eat some flat rice soaked in water, or maybe sometimes just an eggplant, raw eggplant, or, or maybe sometimes just dust from Radha Kund, Sham Kund, or dust of Vrindavan. That's all. He never used to accept any foodstuffs from anybody. That was not his style. And he used to wear some for clothing. He used to just take some clothes lying here and there, or better, he used to go to Shamshan Ghat. Shamshan Ghat means what? A graveyard. He used to go to graveyard, and there he used to he used to just pick up clothes of some corpses there. If some corpse is burned and some clothes is lying there here and there, he used to pick up and just wash it and just wear. That's the level of renunciation he had. Sakshat Vairagya Murti. That's the level of renunciation he had. You can imagine. That's why it is said Sakshat Vairagya Murti. It's not just flattery that it is said. No, it's just a poetic expression. No, it was a real expression. In fact, so I just forgot to tell you, his name before he was initiated was actually Vamshidas. But this Vamshidas is not Vamshidas Babaji. What we hear, it is his name was Vamshidas, but then Vamshidas was also good name. He could have got the name Vamshidas as well. The same name continued. But anyway, he got Gaurakishor Das Babaji. Gaurakishor Das Babaji is quite interesting name because Gaurakishor Babaji, after 32 years of his service in Vrindavan, he was actually instructed by Srimati Radharani, to go to Navdeep. And since he knew that Navdeep and Vrindavan are not different, in fact, Navdeep is a portal to Vrindavan, to enter Vrindavan. So he shifted to Navdeep. So half of the life he spent in Navdeep, half of the life in Vrindavan. And that was quite interesting. And that's why probably Gaurakishor. Kishore means Krishna. He spent his time with Kishore, Kishori in Vrindavan. And then Gaurang Mahaprabhu in Navdeep, Gaurakishor, like that. So 1860, like that, yeah. So Vrindavan pastimes, there's not much record there. We don't have a historical record there. But his Navdeep pastimes are recorded, especially by the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. They recorded his pastimes, meticulously collected, recorded, published, and also had blessings of Gaurakishor Das Babaji, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciples. So when also Babaji came to Navdeep, Bhakti Thakur asked Bhaktisiddhanta to take initiation from Gaurakishor Das Babaji, because he said, I'm your father, I don't want to give you initiation. Although for all practical purposes, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was actually Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru and everything for Bhaktisiddhanta. Bhaktisiddhanta said, I learned everything from my father. It's actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, you take inspiration from Gaurakishor Babaji because that's a trend in Navdeep Mayapur, that all caste Goswamis, they give Diksha to their son and their son continues the legacy and they give Diksha to their son. And we are preaching against that system. And if we do the same thing, that will be a problem. So probably Bhaktivinoda Thakur thought about it and he said, well, they can take Diksha from Gaurakishor Babaji. He's also a perfected soul. And that way, the very action of taking Diksha from Gaurakishor Babaji It will also help to counter this caste Goswami system. So that very act of initiation will also become an act of preaching, uh, preaching, pashandadalam, cutting wrong conceptions. So he took that. Gaurakishor Babaji's relationship with Bhaktisiddhanta was very unique because whenever Bhaktisiddhanta used to come and to meet Gaurakishor Babaji and also take blessings, Gaurakishor Babaji, whenever he used to see Bhaktisiddhanta, he used to say, "Oh, Manjari is coming, Manjari is coming," and he used to clap and he used to become very happy and he used to say, "So Radha might be behind him." That was he. Radha will be soon coming. That was the relationship between Bhaktisiddhanta and actually Gaurakishor Babaji once he went blind. Going to say after some time he went blind because of his strict austerities and of course some of his pastimes, because of his not eating and all these things. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur requested him that he should take some treatment for his blindness. He said, well, what's the use of getting these eyes? So anyway, I don't want to see all these nonsense materialistic people who actually smell like stools. I don't want to see their faces. So it doesn't matter. I don't have eyes. I have my internal eyes by which I can see Krishna and Radha always. But anyway, Bhaktivinoda Thakur requested a lot, and he said, "Well, you can go to Calcutta. We can arrange. There you can get some treatment, and your eyesight can come back. And if you feel it, so Gaurav said, I'll never go in that city of illusion, that Maya Nagari. I'll never go there." But then Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, "You see, don't worry about that. My son, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, he will personally accompany you and arrange for everything, for treatment, and you should not worry about that." So, so I, Gaurav Babaji said, "Well, this is the worst idea you could have said uh, because, because I will die, but I will not take service from Prabhu." He used to call Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur as Prabhu. Although Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur, he was his disciple, but he used to call him as Prabhu. That's right. You see, that is Vaishnavism. Even spiritual, he didn't used to think I am the spiritual master. He was thinking I'm the servant of this great personality. And Bhakti Sangha was thinking I am so I'm not even the dust of God, Babaji. Even Krishna will like to carry this great personality on his head. Who am I? That's the relationship, reciprocal relationship. So Gaurav said, I don't want to take service from Prabhu. And he said, better I die drowning in Ganges rather than taking service from 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 this great Vaishnava. But then he said, no, wait. So if I drown in Ganges, I become a ghost. So let me drown in Saraswati. So we all know Jalangi River near Godrum Deep. That is actually Gupta Saraswati. So he started running towards Saraswati, towards Jalangi. And Bhakti Chandra was running behind him, and he was actually dissuading him, please stop, don't do this, don't do this. Just went and jumped in Jalangi. What could anybody vanish? And then after 40 days he appeared. And he said, and he said, well, I can't attain Krishna by killing myself. That's not the process Mahaprabhu has taught. And I didn't find Krishna anywhere, even below Saraswati, even inside Saraswati. He was there sitting inside Saraswati for 40 days. I don't know how he was sitting, who knows? Sakshat Vairagya Murtina, you can imagine. This is the word, Sakshat Vairagya Murtina. He was even unattached. to his own life. He just jumped in Saraswati. He said, better I die rather than taking service from Vaishnavas. And he just jumped. That's all. He didn't think twice. What he said, he meant. Sakshat Vairagya Murtina, detached from his life even. And after 40 days, he came. He said, I didn't find Krishna. I can't achieve Krishna through by killing myself. Um, so, but I will never accept service from Prabhu. And he just went off. That's all. That was his pastime of Sakshat Vairagya Murti. Uh, And that was his connection with Bhakti Siddhanta. So, in fact, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, once he came to Gaurakishor Babaji, and Gaurakishor asked Babaji, Babaji told Bhakti Siddhanta that there is, I think Gaur Purnima was coming, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his Gaudiya Math, he was arranging a big festival for Gaur Purnima, calling many people, and they have a feast and all these things. So he came to meet Gaurakishor Babaji, and Gaurakishor Babaji said to Bhakti Siddhanta, well, why do you want to arrange such big pandal programs? Why do you want to call so many people? Come here with me. Let us sit and celebrate the festival simply by chanting the holy names 24 hours. That was his style. People with him, they used to think, okay, today's festival time and we will celebrate. So just like we all think, anyway, art is preaching mission, so we do that. But inside the heart, when his disciple, it is a preaching mission, and so we will celebrate. So some arrangements have to be made. So we need money. Or Babaji said, no, what? We'll do feasting on holy names. That's what his mood was. That is Sakshat Vairagya Murti. So he and Bhakti Siddhanta had such an intimate connection. In fact, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was a sole disciple of Gaurakishor Babaji, and he understood his heart. What does Gaurakishor Babaji meant by his speech? In fact, Gaurakishor Babaji once said to Bhakti Siddhanta that he should never go to Calcutta. That's Maya Nagari. So Bhakti Siddhanta immediately the next day he went to Calcutta. And people were saying, what is this? You clearly defied his orders. Bhaktisiddhanta said, no, I'm actually fulfilling his orders. What he's saying, never go to Calcutta, it's Mayanagari. That means it is very bad. It is hell. It is Mayanagari. And people who are trapped in hell, we should save them. We can't leave them there. That's what he means. And Bhaktisiddhanta said, if I had to establish Gaudiya Math in the center of hell, I would have done that. Right in the center of hell, right in the middle of hell. If if I if if I had a way to establish Gaudiya Math, I would have done that. And he did that. In Calcutta was like hell. In though I mean to say Calcutta was the capital of British. It was the most advanced state in at that time. So just like now Delhi, Bombay, like that. At that time Calcutta, even now today. So he said, so he established Gaudiya Math there in Ulta Danga Road. So to save people. So you see that the point, he understood Gaurakishor Das Babaji. And Gaurakishor Das Babaji, he understood Bhakti Siddhanta. In fact, once Gaurakishor Das Babaji, he did his bhajan in a latrine, in a public toilet. He just went in public toilet and did bhajan. So people asked him, what you're doing? And so many government officials, they came and they said, Babaji, we will construct another uh, another room for you. Please come out of this public toilet. It's so smelly. And the sweeper who came to actually clean public toilet, she saw it's closed, so she couldn't do anything. So she complained, and then these people came, and then they also said, well, this This smell of this stool is not so disgusting. I can tolerate that. Now you might be surprised what's happening, but he said, but my question is how you all can tolerate the stink, the stinking mentality of all the materialists with whom you are associating. That's much worse. I can't tolerate that. In fact, so one of the disciples of Bhakti Santa Giri Babu, he actually invited Gaurshaya Babaji to his house. And of course, Gaurshaya Babaji never used to go to any house, but somehow he acceded to his proposal and he went to his house in actually Navdeep. And but Gaurshaya Babaji said, well, I will stay in your toilet. So he said, no, Gaurshaya Babaji, what is this? They tried to persuade him, but he said, no, if I come, I'll stay in your toilet. So they cleaned their toilet, and he stayed there. This is called Sakshat Vairagya Murti. He's not even interested in good room or good nothing. He's interested. He knows that this material world is a stool. He knows material world is a stool. So if it's a material world is a stool, then what's the problem of living in toilet? You see, Sakshat Vairagya Murti. That was he. So, so that was the relationship between him and Bhaktisiddhanta. That's a sweet relationship, and if we just meditate on relationship between him and Bhaktisiddhanta, that's even uh, so much instructing to all of us. This is a true disciple who understands what his spiritual master want and then fulfills that. In fact, once Gaurshaya Babaji said to Bhaktisiddhanta that why you're building so many Gaudiya Math, big buildings. Come here and chant with me, that's all. So Bhaktisiddhanta told Gaurakishor Babaji, do you think I'm doing something wrong? I'm building all these mats so that people can come to the shelter of Lord Nityananda and Gauranga. And they are not ready to actually chant 3 lakh names, 2 lakh names, or even 1 lakh name. They're not ready, they're not even pure. So I'm giving them the service of deities in the mat, and so that they can be purified and they can then surrender themselves to holy name. So Gaurshavaji, he didn't say anything to this point. He just kept quiet. And then Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, he went away. Then when he came the next time, then Gaurshavaji shouted, "Oh, Nityanand, more Nitai, Nitai is coming." Because Nityanand Prabhu, he's the original guru, original preacher. So Gaurshavaji actually affirmed what Bhakti Santa was doing. In fact, Bhakti Santa Saraswati Thakur, once he was giving lecture in Mayapur, uh, and he saw Gaurshava, and he was actually glorifying Mahaprabhu Nityanand and even Gaurkishor Babaji. And suddenly he saw and Gaurkishor Babaji, he was standing there and listening to him and smiling. And then he asked Gaurkishor Babaji, how did you come here? I mean to say, so devotees told him that Gaurkishor Babaji has come, uh, so had arrived last night. So in the middle of the night, he had arrived around 2 a.m. around that. Bhaktisandra said, "How did you come? You are blind. You don't have eyes. And 2 o'clock in the night, where's a boat? And who actually assisted you from the ghat to Yogapeeth in that night? Because at that time there were no roads and nothing. It was simply jungle. And he's a blind man." So Varsha said, well, somebody assisted me. That's all. He just smiled. Bhaktisandra said, somebody? Who somebody? There's nobody at 2 o'clock in the night. And there's no boat. How do you come? So he said, well, somebody assisted me. Somebody caught a hold of my hand, and just catching hold of his hand, I crossed the Ganges walking and came here. So Bhaktivinoda said, oh, so Krishna personally assisted you. And Varsha said, yeah, somebody assisted me. That's how. That was a relationship between him, and he understood what Gaurakishor, what his spiritual master wanted. He was not, Bhakti Santa was not a sentimental person. Oh, Guru Maharaj, you are great. Oh, Guru Maharaj, and then just offering some garlands, and that's okay. You can offer some garlands and some picture on your altar. You can do that, but that's not the point. Point is to fulfill their desires at whatever level you are. We are not saying that you should fulfill desires of your spiritual master like Srila Prabhupada did for his spiritual master. Everybody cannot do like that. Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj from Gaudiya Math, somebody asked him, that Swami Maharaj has done so much preaching all around the world. And what about us? Now ISKCON devotees are saying, Gaudiya Math, they simply ring their bells. So Bhakti Sridhar Maharaj, he was a friend of Swami Maharaj. Swami Maharaj means Prabhupada. They call him Swami Maharaj. They don't call him Prabhupada because for them Prabhupada is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So Bhakti Sridhar Maharaj said, well, Swami Maharaj is like an ocean and we are like a pond. He is doing big things, and Bhakti Sridhar Maharaj, he said he said he said we are glad what he is doing. We are glad, we are happy, and we are proud to hear this word from Bhakti Sridhar Maharaj. If you know who is he, his personality, and anyway, so to say we are proud, he would have never said this, but for Swami Maharaj he said, because he knew Prabhupada. He was his Bhakti Sridhar Maharaj and Prabhupada, they had a very intimate connection, right from India. And even after when Prabhupada went to America, he wrote letters to him, and Shabdakshi Maharaj, he encouraged Prabhupada, you stay there. In fact, that's another issue, but the whole point is, he said, we are glad, we are happy, we are proud of him. But he's like an ocean, we're like a small pond. So yeah, you can serve your spiritual master in whatever small little ways you can, but you have to fulfill their desire. That's the whole point. Some people can preach all around the world. Some people can preach to 2,000 people. Some people can preach to 100. Some people can preach to 10. Some people can preach to one person. But you got to preach because that's the desire of Guru. Guru is not a person, by the way. Guru is a person and not a person, both. Veda Tattva. Guru is a representative of Nityanand Prabhu, and in ultimate sense, representative of Srimati Radharani. So what's their desire? The desire is to please Krishna, Radha, and Nityanand Prabhu's desire is to actually glorify him all around the world, all around the universe. So that's sweet connection between Bhakti Santa didn't just come to Gaurakishor, Babaji, I want to have your darshan, give me blessings, and all this cheap stuff. It's not there. This is all new devotees. Oh Maharaj, we have come, give me blessings. We just came to see you. Come on, see. That was not Gaurakishor, Babaji and Bhakti Santa, by the way. Their connection. If you read the past text, their connection was always based on Siddhanta and learn something and then apply that. Bhakti Santa asked Gaurakishor, asked Babaji once about about other Babajis of Vrindavan. And so he had a complete list of names of Babajis who were actually Siddha Purush in Vrindavan, so-called Siddha Purush. So he was asking Gaurakishor Babaji, so what about this Siddha Purush? Gaurakishor Babaji said, he's an impostor. What about this Siddha Purush? He's another impostor. What about this Siddha Purush? He is a charlatan. What about this Siddha Purush? He is in illicit sex. And Gaurakishor Babaji always was laughing. He is nonsense. And then Gaurakishor Babaji said, forget it. Everybody is a cheater in Vrindavan. That's Gaurakishor Babaji, and Bhakti Siddhanta maintained that line of thought. when he was giving sermon in Radhakund, where all these Babajis were there, and he said all of them are neophytes and monkeys of Dhamma. Where other people were thinking they're Siddha Purush. You can imagine. Here Bhakti Sandhya was saying they are like monkeys. Now that's the line of thought. Now you might think, no, the Vrindavan Babajis are great. We should not say like that. Well, then you are trying to be more smarter than Bhakti Sandhya and Gaur Babaji. Okay. If you think you are more intelligent, then that's your problem. But that's not the line of thought of our Gaudiya Vaishnavism. These are all our neophytes, all are beavers, charlatans. Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, he went to Vrindavan and he said, Vrindavan is the worst place in the sense all are gundas here, spoiled by them. Of course, at the same time, it's a holy place, so it can only be perceived by spiritual senses and not by material senses. That's the line of thought. That is Sakshat Vairagya Murti. That's Gaurkishor Babaji. And Bhakti Santa believed him. He didn't argue with him. He believed him. And he passed this line of thought to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada passed it to us. And that's why today's day is so important, to actually meditate on what is the line of thought of Gaurkishor Babaji, which we have to maintain it now, which we have to carry forward. We can't speculate and be sentimental and just keep on thinking whatever we want. Then we become disconnected from our sampradaya. I mean to say, you can hear some lectures on Gaurkishor Babaji today, even by some other devotees or somebody, but the whole idea is, if you simply hear stories, then it serves no purpose. You have to understand the purport of those stories and then apply in your life. I mean to say, what should we do with Gaurkishor Babaji's life? Can we even follow one thing what he said? Even half a thing? Even quarter of a thing? He said, so one of the king and his wife, they sent a messenger to Gaurkishor Babaji that you please come to a palace and you please sanctify this palace. Gaurkishor Babaji said, I don't come and meet kings. They are nonsense. They are materialist. The king said no. But then he told messenger, if he wants my association, ask him to come to me. Leave all his palace and kings. Come with me. I will arrange a cottage for him. Let him chant and I will chant and we will have nice time together. That was his response. So one of the landowner, he came to meet him to ask some very pertinent questions about Ramanand Rai and Mahaprabhu's discussion. The landowner and his friend, they came and met him, so Gaurkishor said to landowner's friend that you leave this rascals association, otherwise you will never be able to enter Ramanand Rai's and Mahaprabhu's discussion. He could understand their intention is useless, because they were thinking we are scholars and we want to pose off. He was actually uncompromising, and he spoke truth. He didn't mind whether he's speaking to a king, to a landowner. One person came, so actually when Babaji arrived in Avdi from Vrindavan, and he actually bought 3 acres of land from a queen of, local queen of Calcutta. He got 3 acres of land in Avdi. And Babaji, Gaurkishor Babaji said, what is this? You can't even buy 1 inch of land in Navdeep. This is Gauranga Mahaprabhu's property. And what is this Babaji doing? Is he servant of Queen or Krishna? Has he sold his devotion to her and bought 3 acres of land in the lieu of it? He just spoke like that, Gaurkishor Babaji. And so one devotee was there who was listening this, and he just left. He was like shocked, and he just left, and he never came back. After some months, he came back and he said, I was really afraid when you use these kind of words, and your sharp words just pierced my heart. I was very afraid to come to you. So Harshavi said, well, sadhus, real sadhus have sharp words who cut all your attachments. That's a real sadhu. Of course, in modern world, when you preach, you have to really balance it out. Otherwise, who's going to hear you? At the same time, your message should be to the point. It should not be circling around some stories. That's not the point. Stories should not be in the center, and message should not be revolving around. Message should be in the center, and stories should be revolving around. That's the point. Message should be the center point. Story should be the circumference. But people do the other way around. People keep stories in the center point, and message is evolving around in the circumference. And the circumference is so big that nobody ever saw that circumference. The circle is so big that you can't see the circumference. You can only see stories. Then what's the point of that? We have to imbibe their message. Gaurakishor Das Babaji, Gaurakishor Das Babaji, he was actually, what is that? Um, anyway, yeah. Anyway, I can just keep on speaking. Gaurakishor Babaji. There are some pastimes more. There's not much pastimes of Gaurakishor Babaji recorded, but there are some more pastimes. Most of the pastimes, his whole is Sakshat Vairagya Murti, no? Vipralambara Sambodha. His whole, but we should not think that this renunciation of Gaurakishor Babaji is an artificial renunciation. This renunciation is born of Vipralambara Sambodha. Vipralamba. This is born of separation. Vipralamba means the love in separation. A deep attachment to Krishna, from where this renunciation is being born. It's not artificial. And Gaurakishor Babaji was often found to sing this song, Kothai Go Prem Radhe, Kothai Go Prem Shri Radhe Radhe. He used to sing this. Where is my beloved mistress, Srimati Radharani? He was found, and Bhakti actually noted this song in his diary. Now, what's happening? Well, he is so attached to Radha and Krishna that he's oblivious to his surroundings. That's what is happening. Virpulamba, he's feeling intense separation from them. So that's where Virpulamba Rasam Bodhe. Ras means mellows, Ambodhi means ocean. He's floating in an ocean of separation from Radha and Krishna. He's floating an ocean of separation. This is what is Gaurakishor Das Babaji. Kishore, Gaurakishor Das Babaji. Gaurang Mahaprabhu means Sakshat Vairagya Murtine, Gaura, who is himself Sannyas Shiromani. And Vipralambara Sambodhe, Gaurakishor Das Babaji. Padam Bujayate Namah. I form a actual obeisances to them. So that is Gaurakishor Babaji in his entire life. He's teaching us these two things. Always be detached from anything material, in your heart at least. The smell of stool should appear to you much better than smell of sense gratification. Of course, it is difficult to do, but that's how we have to flip our mind. That's how we have to flip our mind. Just like I was saying today to devotees, when you actually desire that somebody should criticize you, that's the day when you are nearing perfection. And you desire, just like now we desire that somebody should speak nice to us. At one point you will desire, oh, somebody should criticize me. It's such a long time nobody has criticized me. Nobody has said bad words to me. I'm so unfortunate that I'm puffed up now, that I've forgotten my nonsense. And you should actually desire that. You should like when somebody criticizes you. Yeah, this is what I wanted in my life because it's good for my soul. That's the idea. That is Sakshat Vairagya Murtine. That is renunciation in your heart. We can't be like also Babaji externally because we have to preach. So externally you should be Bhakti Srila, like Bhakti Siddhanta or Srila Prabhupada. But internally you should be like Gaurakishor Das Babaji. And that's why they said externally you should be Ghoshanandi, internally you should be Bhajanandi. That's how Gaurakishor Das Babaji is preaching. He's not inactive Babaji and well, so what's the good? I mean, somebody can say he's inactive. He's not contributing to Mahaprabhu's mission. No, he is contributing to Mahaprabhu's mission in the heart. In the heart, you should be like him. Externally, fine. We don't tell people that you stink, that you all stink. But in the heart, you should know. So that is Viplambara Sambuddha Padambo Janate. That is called Shavaji. Some other pastimes you can always go and read on net. But most of them, I told you, the most important ones which we should know. And so today we can think about him. We can think how we can apply his teachings. Bhakti Santa said, you should always keep the spirit of renunciation in your heart. Sakshat Vairagya Murtine. Don't reveal it outside because that will hamper preaching mission. But at least keep in your heart, because if in your heart, if you don't keep God sure as a Babaji, then you will never attain Bhakti Siddhanta. God, Bhakti Siddhanta is born of God Kishore as Babaji. You will never understand him. Because without God Kishore Babaji, if you try to understand Bhakti Siddhanta, then you just take the skin. Then you just take the skin of Bhakti Siddhanta and not the bone marrow or not the soul. Bhakti Siddhanta soul is God Kishore Babaji. That's his day. So we offer obeisances and Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. God Kishore Das Babaji ki jai. Any questions anybody want to ask? That's you can ask me now. Okay, that's it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dana Pranam. Very nice,
Hare
wonderful.
Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah.
So, Prabhu, whom did Gaurakishor Das Babaji glorify within his lifetime?
Whom did he glorify?
Yes.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Like in your lecture, I heard that he did not like people, and people was because people were stinking with material sense gratification and all. But therefore, would have been someone whom he appreciated or he kind of liked.
Of course. He appreciate. I told you he appreciated Bhakti Siddhanta as Prabhu, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He used to associate with them. Just two of them. That's all. And probably sometimes Jagannath Das Babaji when he used to come to Navdeep. And also in Navdeep there was some. I think Bhagavad Das Babaji he also came to Navdeep later. And yes, that's all. That's all. Otherwise, nobody else. He said everybody has nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So whoever came to him, he instructed them nicely. But if he found the intention is wrong, he used to abuse them and just shoo them off. Actually, and he was very careful of illusions. So once he was taking prasad and one snake came beside him, very near to him, and he was just about to bite him, and one old female, she just saw that, and she said, "So Babaji, there's a snake." Babaji said, "You first go away. You are a snake to me." He says, "Get out from here." She was shouting, "No, Babaji, snake." He said, "I'll not honor prasad. I'll not get up. You just get out." And she went, and then the snake also went after her. And then he took prasad. He was not afraid, and snake just went. So then he told his followers, "You see how Maya works? Maya comes in the form of compassion to help you, and then you fall into illusion by thinking that somebody in this world, at least somebody in the world, is there to take care of me. You see such a deep insight. So he said this was illusion, because we should never think that anybody is taking care of us except Krishna. This spoils the mood of devotion. No, no, no. So now, what do you say about that?
Hari bol.
Oh, yeah. So it's like you see the point. It's funny, but it's like this. But but that's my point. You see, in preaching, we don't do like that. If some Mataji comes, we will not tell her get out from here. So I also don't even do like that. We don't do like that. But at the same time, our heart should have these kind of emotions. Otherwise, we'll fall down. As I've seen, so many preachers have fallen down. Why? Because, okay, fine, they were following Prabhupada and Bhakti Siddhanta, but they were not, but they were following superficially. They didn't follow Bhakti Siddhanta in his heart. Bhakti Siddhanta's heart is God, Babaji, and that's why a devotee should always have this actually split personality. Actually, Srila Prabhupada was, you see the point. People have actually portrayed Srila Prabhupada's whole. Okay, you can hear me.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. We can hear
You
you.
can hear me, no?
Yes,
So
yes.
Srila Prabhupada's whole, Srila Prabhupada's whole image is portrayed in such a wrong way. I mean, say, so in the sense that we generally hear that Prabhupada was very merciful, and that Prabhupada was extremely merciful. We know much merciful than his spiritual master. But Srila Prabhupada had actually um, so it actually a different side altogether to his personality also. So if you read Hari Shauri diary and Tamal Krishna Maharaj ITKG diary, you will come to know how actually Prabhupada also had this dual face. So you read Hari Shauri diary, you will come to know. So once Srila Prabhupada was in he was in India, Hyderabad, and he was giving lecture, and then the next day he came and there was all prasad lying down on the floor. So he said, "What is this prasad?" So they said, "Prabhupada, last night after lecture, we took prasad and we forgot to clean." And Prabhupada was very angry. And so Prabhupada said in Hindi, because he was in India and they were Indians. Prabhupada said, "Haram Zado." Prabhupada said, and then he just went. So he just avoided stepping on prasad and he went and sat on the seat. And then he said, "What is this? You all Malechas," and all the foreigners were sitting so big Swamijis, like Hamsadut and all this. But he said, "You all Malechas, you don't know this simple etiquettes. You are destroying our Indian culture," and he just blasted them. So one foreigner devotee, he said, he was thinking, "What should I do?" Papa was very angry. So he took the knife from his pocket and he started cleaning the dry stuck prasad on the floor. He said, "Well, we should do something." He started cleaning. So then Prabhupada saw and Prabhupada said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Prabhupada, I'm cleaning prasad." Prabhupada said, "Take this knife and cut your throat." Prabhupada was very, very angry. This is one of the side of Prabhupada. So we know Prabhupada could have been very angry in his at some time. So he had a different kind of mood in his heart altogether, and but he expressed a different kind of attitude to help people, but in his heart he was renounced. That's all. He didn't need anything, and he was pakka in his siddhant and whatever his concepts, and sometimes it came out so like that. So we all have to be like that. Otherwise, we can't advance. It's impossible to advance, and that's the role of Gaurakishor Babaji in our sampradaya. Like that, you see, we should not do anything which will give us false sense of security, false sense of care. Although we live with our families and we have our own house as congregation or as full time, we have our own temples. But in our heart, we should think that this is this is not our security. This is not our care. This is all false. And we have to keep on reminding ourselves. We have to keep on hearing good devotees and keep on reminding ourselves, because the nature of this word is to actually make you forget all these things. That's how word is designed. And that's why Gaurshavaji was very careful about all these things. That's how it went.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Keshav.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Go ahead,
What was
Mataji.
Mataji, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna, Keshavanand, Prabhuji. Thank you for the
Hare
wonderful
Krishna.
class. I just had one question in regard to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's initiation by Gaurakishor Das Babaji. Because I once heard that Gaurakishor Das Babaji did not want to initiate, and that Bhakti Siddhanta had a kind of a unique initiation. Can you say a little something about that?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Gaurakishor Babaji, when Bhakti Santa approached Gaurakishor Babaji said, Bhakti said, you see, Bhakti Vinod Thakur has asked me to take Diksha from you. Gaurakishor Babaji, he didn't feel, by the way, he didn't feel qualified to initiate Bhakti Siddhanta. That was his mood because he didn't even qualified, he didn't feel qualified even to actually take service from anybody. In fact, because he was Uttamadhikari, he used to think I am a servant of others, and especially this Bhakti Siddhanta. He knew Bhakti Vinod Thakur when he came to Navdeep, and he knew Bhakti Vinod Thakur is a perfected soul, and he could see Bhakti Siddhanta Bimal Prasad that he also was a perfected soul. And he often used to call Bhakti Siddhanta and Bhakti Thakur as Gaur Nitai. He used to say, Gaur Nitai are coming. He knew. So he denied Bhakti Siddhanta. But he didn't deny straightforward. He said, I'll ask Mahaprabhu. He just avoided giving initiation. And Bhakti Siddhanta was actually devastated. He said, well, what should I do? He went back. He came back again. He said, did you ask Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And he said, I forgot. That was the response. He was avoiding. That's all. Bhakti Siddhanta could understand he's avoiding, and then he went back. He came back. This happened quite a few times. It is almost similar to actually Sripad Ramanuja's dealing with his own Diksha Guru. So Ramanujacharya, he went to his Guru and he asked for mantra, Om Namo Narayana Namah. He didn't give him. He rejected him. Actually, he told, you are not qualified. He rejected him 18 times, but he was pestering. He was after him. So Bhakti Siddhanta came back again. Then after some time he came and he said, you know what? He said, Gaurakishor Babaji, if you don't give initiation this time, pran na rakhe wo aar. I will not live. I will die. I am saying for sure. And Gaurakishor Babaji could see the sincerity of purpose in his eyes. He already knew. And now he says, I'll die. So that's a very critical situation. And he said, well, if you die, then that offense is on my head. I don't want to actually be your guru, but at the same time, I don't want to commit a Vaishnava offense. That's very dreadful. So he was thinking, well, let me serve this Vaishnava. Let me fulfill his desire. He was not thinking, okay, no, I'll give him initiation because he could die, and he's a sincere soul. I'll guide him. No, that was not the relationship between them. So he said, okay, well, I'll serve him because that's his sincere desire. He took him as his disciple, but there was no formal yagya there. He told Bhakti Siddhanta Vimal Prasad, to go and take bath in Ganges. He took bath, he came, and then in his ears, he gave him initiation. So there was no formal yagya or something like that. So what happened was these caste Goswamis, especially Nityanand Parivar and Advait Parivar in Bengal, they said that Bhakti Siddhanta is not initiated by Bhakti Gaurakishor Babaji because there's no yagya, there was no formal process. He just spoke something, he just spoke the mantra in his ears, and that's it. Okay, fine, you're done. But so these caste Goswamis, they were telling, well, they didn't initiate them properly. It was not according to Satkriya Sar Deepika. or Hari Bhakti Vilas, the kind of initiation we have now, it's not like that. So we don't agree and this blah blah blah. There was a big commotion, but at the same time, Gaurakishor Babaji, he had just one single disciple, and who would deny the erudition of Bhakti Siddhanta? Who would like to debate with him that this is not true initiation? Bhakti Siddhanta would have like just like blasted them all of them by true Siddhanta, because Bhakti Siddhanta said this is real initiation. This is a real Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. That Bhagavatam, Krishna initiated Brahma without yagya, by the way, right at the beginning of creation. Janmadya Sada Annevadete Iterateshu Chavegya Sura Tene Brahma Hridaye. Tene Brahma Hirdi. Within the heart, Krishna infused knowledge in the heart of Brahma through the sound of his flute. That's all. There was no yagya, nothing. So they did that. And Bhakti Siddhanta, then he took sannyas from Gaurakishor Babaji's picture. Now, what about that? That was quite unconventional. Nobody takes sannyas from picture. Even Mahaprabhu didn't take sannyas from picture. He went to Katwa, to Keshav Bharati, and then all those drama happened and he took initiation. What about Bhakti Siddhanta? He took from, so in that matter, he was quite a revolutionary person. But nobody dared to actually have a debate with him and say, well, you see, this is wrong, because they were very afraid of Bhakti Siddhanta. Bhakti Siddhanta, once somebody actually, Bhaktisiddhanta went to BHU and somebody opposed him that the commentary he wrote of Surya Siddhanta, there's a book Surya Siddhanta, he wrote commentary, in that there's something wrong. And Bhaktisiddhanta gave a lecture in BHU, all professors, and actually HOD of the Department of Astrology was sitting there. And he was also in the opposing camp to Bhaktisiddhanta. And he was also arguing these things are not right. Bhaktisiddhanta gave a powerful lecture, and that was such powerful lecture that actually that HOD, he passed urine and stool sitting there. Can you imagine what kind of force he would have been having? He was completely out of his nerves. And my God, this he didn't expect such kind of answer with such a confidence, and nobody could refute him. They couldn't even think anything to refute. He's actually he got a vago, what can we say, vago anal reflex. He just went bonkers. He was so embarrassed. So people were very afraid to touch him, although he was doing so unconventional things, because they knew he can actually defend himself nicely through proper siddhanta. So that's what happened was, and yeah, that's how he got initiated and got Babaji did that. Of course, I mean to say, you see, this kind of initiation was also not necessary, also because Babaji, he already had good relationships with Bhakti Vinod and Bhakti Siddhanta, and I told you, Bhakti Vinod Thakur purposefully asked Bhakti Siddhanta to take initiation from Gaurakishor Babaji. It was an act of also of actually defeating caste Goswamis. That was very essential, because they wanted to establish Gaudiya Math, and they wanted to establish, I'm to say, not just buildings of Gaudiya Math, but the Siddhanta of Gaudiya Math, which demanded defeating Upper Sampradaya and caste Goswamis. And this was the first step of Bhakti Siddhanta in preaching, taking initiation from Gaurakishor Babaji. So it's not that Bhakti Siddhanta said my ego was crushed because of Gaurakishor Babaji. It was a pastime, and Bhakti Siddhanta said in some humility those things. But we know actually what was Bhakti Vinod Thakur's intention, and Gaurakishor Babaji could understand that why Bhakti Vinod Thakur is sending him to me. He knew Bhakti for Gaurakishor Babaji, Bhakti Vinod Thakur was Shiksha Guru, and I mean to say, Gaurakishor Babaji would have told, see, you are senior, so, and you are the person, and why don't you initiate? He could have easily said. But actually, what I understand is he understood what is the intention of Bhakti Vinod Thakur in all this kind of pastime, and then he gave him. That's all. That's what I see.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I just have one other quick question. Were there any? Did anyone else take initiation from Gaurakishor Das Babaji? Did he have any disciples?
Nobody.
No.
No,
Okay.
Gaurakishor, no, he didn't give anybody. Actually, he used to just say, get out from me. That's all. He was a soul devotee. Like that.
Okay. Thank you again, and thank you for the class. It was wonderful.
Okay, so who is asking? One Mataji wanted to ask, no, somebody.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandot pranams Prabhuji. Very, very nice class. So,
Oh, Lalitangi Mataji, after a long time, you are there.
yeah,
I don't
yes.
get to hear your voice.
Yeah, with the kids like getting ready for the school, couldn't ask
Oh,
you
okay,
questions,
okay,
Prabhuji.
okay,
Now
okay.
today is a holiday.
Okay.
So, so thank you, Prabhuji, for that very beautiful class. And so the question is on Vairagya. And so since the shloka from Bhagavatam says that Jana Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayatyasu Vairagyam Jnanam cha yadahaitukam. But Vairagya looks like, a part of bhakti. Or what is this? I mean, the shloka is, I understand that if bhakti is practiced, then jnana and vairagya automatically follow. And we also have that story where bhakti is young, but jnana and vairagya, the sons are old. And so what is the exact link? Can bhakti be is independent of jnana and vairagya, or how are they linked?
Okay, I understand your question. Yeah, you see the point. It has to be understood very carefully because generally, as you said, Janiyati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chadautukam. Devotees have this conception that from bhakti, vairagya and gyan will automatically manifest. And on this plea, many of people in Vrindavan, they become sahajas because jnana has to come from bhakti and vairagya from bhakti. So let's do bhakti. Then what is bhakti? Bhakti is simply chanting and dancing and prasad, and that's it. And this very point, Bhakti Siddhanta devoted his whole life fighting this fact. You see, and that's why Bhakti Siddhanta, he was printing books. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was writing books. And what were Goswamis doing? They were actually preparing for deep philosophical literatures, and not in Braj Bhasha, by the way, and not even in Bengali. Of course, Bengali was, of course, no choice there. They could have written their books in Braj Bhasha, as Vallabh Sampradaya were writing. Vallabh Sampradaya wrote their books in Braj Bhasha because people knew in North India and they could have preached. Actually, their Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhant would have actually spread widely if they would have actually chosen to write in Braj Bhasha, but they didn't do. They wrote in Sanskrit, classical, scholarly language which only few people can understand. They wrote, and what happened? Vallabh Sampradaya actually spread like fire. And even today, if you go to Vrindavan, people are singing Surdas songs, Mirabai songs, which were in colloquial language. And what happened with Gaudiya Vaishnavism? As as we thought, because they wrote in Sanskrit, nobody could understand. It just vanished. And later, Vishwanath, Chakravarti, Baldev Vidyabhushan, Hemlata Thakurani, Krishna Thakurani, they came on the scene. The second wave, the second wave of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, the first wave, Shad Goswami, second wave, and they again revived everything back. So the question is why they were doing all these things. If jnana has to come from bhakti, that's the whole point. Because the verse says jnana and vairagya will actually arise spontaneously from bhakti, then are they wasting the time? Nana Shastra Vichara and Kavipunau, are they wasting time? so we have to understand in proper light. So how to understand this is, well, there are two ways to understand this. Now, one way is from bhakti comes gyan and vairagya, but there are two types of gyan and two types of vairagya. Now, one type of gyan is paroksha gyan, and another type of gyan is aparoksha gyan. Similarly with vairagya, paroksha vairagya and aparoksha vairagya. Or other terms are used in scriptures, or it is said jat jnana and ajat jnana. Jat vairagya, ajat vairagya. Like this, there are various terms used in scripture. So there are two levels of jnana, two levels of vairagya. Now, what are these? Now, paroksh jnana or paroksh vairagya is that kind of vairagya, that kind of jnana, which is actually produced by reading scriptures. Now you read scriptures, now we read Prabhupada books, so we are taking knowledge. So that is paroksh. Paroksh means scripture. Aksha means sense perception, para means other. Other means what? Scriptures, which is coming from Sampradaya scripture. So that is paroksha jnana. Paroksh vairagya means our scriptures order us, okay, bhal na khao, bhal na porebo, no illicit sex, no gambling, for example, four regulatory principles, don't do sense gratification. This is paroksha vairagya. We are doing on orders, we are taking scriptures. And that and the other level is aparoksh jnana, aparoksh vairagya. That so aparoksha means which is coming from your soul, or this is also called jat vairagya, jata gyan, which is born of your soul. So paroksh gyan, paroksh vairagya is ajat, which is not born from you, which is born from scriptures, from the orders of scriptures, from the orders of sampradaya. But this is born from your soul. Now you have realized this jnana is realized in you. That is a paroksh gyan. And vairagya is realized, it is coming spontaneously from you, in lieu of your attachment to Krishna. So that is born from your soul. That is jat. So these are two levels: aparoksh jnana, aparoksh vairagya, paroksh jnana, paroksh vairagya. So what this verse is saying, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhagavad Bhakti Yogita Janyati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chattad Ahitukam. This is the point there. This verse is referring to aparoksh jnana and aparoksh vairagya. Bhakti, from bhakti, what is born? Aparoksh jnana and aparoksh vairagya. But when we are practicing bhakti, we have to take assistance of paroksha jnana and paroksh vairagya. That assistance we need. Because if we don't take that assistance, then our bhakti becomes sentimental. That's one way to see this verse. To understand connection. Another way to understand connection in Gaudiya Vaishnava language, this is the language of Madhva Sampradaya. In our Gaudiya Vaishnava language, we agree from Bhakti, Jnana and Vairagya produced. We agree that fact. That's very, very perfectly, because sadhana is Bhakti. And from Bhakti comes Jnana and Vairagya. But there is another verse. Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. Whatever is favorable to bhakti we take, what is unfavorable we leave. So what is favorable? Reading books is favorable. Understanding knowledge is favorable. And what is favorable? Vairagya, detachment from this material world. Otherwise our mind will be polluted. We have to follow certain rules of denial, self-denial we have to do. That is favorable. So we accept Jnana and Vairagya as anukul, but not as sadhana. This verse is about sadhana. As far as sadhana goes, bhakti is sadhana, and from that vairagya and jnana produce. Vairagya and jnana are not sadhana. From sadhana perspective, this is spoken. But at the same time, from anukul perspective, jnana and vairagya can become anukul to bhakti sadhana. That's another issue, which is not subject matter of this verse. And so that is where the role of jnana and vairagya comes as anukul, but not as sadhana. So then everything harmonizes nicely. So first, initially, Vairagya Gyan becomes anukul to bhakti as sadhana, which is bhakti, which is sadhana. And when we keep on following, which Mahaprabhu says, Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga, we keep on doing bhakti yoga, and Vairagya Vidya we take as anukul. Then when bhakti matures and we get realizations, then from that bhakti comes real this aparoksh jnana and vairagya, which is spontaneous in a Gaudiya Vaishnava language, spontaneous knowledge and spontaneous renunciation. But before that, we have to practice it, which is not spontaneous, just as favorable to help us advance in devotional service. But we should not consider Jnana and Vairagya as a part of a sadhana. That's not a good idea. That's not. Main thing is chanting holy names, Shravan and Kirtan, and this will assist us like that. So I think, I think this makes clear.
Yeah, very, very nice, Prabhuji. Anukul and sadhana and paroksh and aparoksh. This makes it very clear. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, when Bhaktisiddhanta took the initiation from Gaurakishor Das Babaji, which mantra was he initiated into? Gayatri? Because for Prabhupada, we hear that for him it was Gayatri and the first and the second was together. For Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, which one was it?
Same Gayatri only. Gayatri only, Kam Gayatri. Same.
Okay.
Kam Gayatri. Because but Kam Gayatri. But for, as you see, for Bhaktisiddhanta and Gaurakishor, this Kam Gayatri and all these were not actually important. It was not. Actually, it was absolutely not, because main thing is Hare Krishna. This was just a formality. That's all. Because Hare Krishna is everything. This Gayatri and all this is just for deity worship. It's a Panchratrik Vidhi, and that's not even required. I mean, Gopal Mantra, generally Gadadhar Pandit, he was initiated in Gopal Mantra. Why? Because he had to do deity worship. If you are not doing deity worship, then this is even not required, this kind of thing. So then they get initiated in Hare Krishna. They say chant Hare Krishna, and they chant just like we get initiation. So Varshavai said, okay, chant Hare Krishna plus this Gopal mantra. So he got both of them together. He was anyway chanting Hare Krishna, so there was no need to tell him. So he just gave him as a formality, no, not required. Generally, devotees think Brahman initiation, that's higher, second initiation, that's higher than first. It's a wrong understanding. Second means second, am I right? First is first. First is higher than second. That's obvious. So people think, oh, no, Hare Krishna is complete. That's all. If you want to do deity worship, then take, otherwise, no need. What's the point?
Deity worship as in a temple, Prabhuji?
Yeah, a temple or a house. If you want to do deity worship, you must be initiated, Brahman initiated. Otherwise, you can't just do deity worship like dolls. That's not
in a recent Prabhupada memories, Kishori Mataji, she was saying that Prabhupada, I don't know what is the rule now, that Prabhupada was saying that he never said Gopal initiation, Gopal mantra initiation is important. So Kishori Mataji was saying that that's what Prabhupada was letting everybody know.
So I think she was saying the same thing. No, it's not important.
She said, I mean, the story goes like that. It's there on YouTube. Kishori Mataji was saying that Yamuna Mataji got to know that, for deity worship, you need Gopal mantra initiation.
Srila Prabhupada said it's not.
Yeah, and then she let every president know in all the temple over the world. And then Srila Prabhupada got really upset over the matter. And Prabhupada asked Yamuna Mataji to write the letter back saying that it is not needed or something like that. Like, refuting the first letter saying that it is not needed. That's what Kishori Mataji was saying.
Well, I think some research has to be done, because deity worship always requires certain rules and regulations. So I think some research is required in that. What was exactly the incidence and what? But now, anyway, now presently, every pujari requires Brahman initiation. Am I right? Everybody, yes. At least in temples. Yes. So why not in your house? Because to do deity worship, you have to do achman, you have to do certain kind of mudras. Without Brahman thread, without Gayatri, you can't do that. All these avahan and all these things. Proper deity worship has to be done. So it's good to have like that.
Okay, thank you so much, Babaji. Hare Krishna. Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam. Thank you so much for the beautiful class. Is there anybody having any more questions for Prabhuji? If there are no more questions, we can end the call here. I would like to offer obeisances to Prabhuji and all the Vaishnavas assembled on
Hare
the
Krishna.
Pancha Kalpa Tarobhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Chaitana
Hare
Pavanebhyo
Krishna.
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Grace
Ki
Keshavanand Prabhu.
Jai.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It's already 8 o'clock, so we are not having today parikrama because it's 8 o'clock. So we will continue tomorrow, today's part also. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's class. Hare Krishna. We are ending the call.